Okay. Yeah. So the goal was to limit global warming to below 2 Celsius, and it aimed for 1.5 Celsius. Here are the key commitments. Countries set their own climate targets, which are called NDCs. Wealthier nations fund developing countries. They have a certain fund they have to um, fund for the NDCs. And here we're going to talk why it's important. It's because it's the first universal agreement tackling climate change. So you should put that in mind. Here we have the progress and challenges of the Paris Agreement. Here's the progress. We have renewable energy capacity has doubled since 2015, and we have over 100 countries pledged to cut methane emissions by 30% by 2030. Here are the challenges. Many countries aren't on track to meet their NDCs. Wealthy nations have yet to deliver the 100 billion per year climate finance goal. That was what we were talking about. And the path forward isn't easy, but the progress is happening. So what other agreements matter? I have three agreements here. We have the Kyoto Protocol in 1997. It was focused on reducing emissions in developing nations, but it excluded developing countries. The Montreal Protocol, which was in 1987, it was successfully addressed ozone depletion, example of efficiently global cooperation. And we have the most recent one, which is the Global Methane Pledge in 2021. It aimed to cut methane emissions by 30% by 2030. Here are the role of international organization. We have UNFCCC, oversees climate negotiations and annual COP conference, which we had a COP conference. I think it was, I don't remember where, but it was last year. IPCC, we provide scientific evidence to inform policies. The NGOs, such as Greenpeace, advocate for accountability and ability for grassroots movement. So here we're going to talk about the funding and climate finance. Wealthy nations pledged 100 billion per year by 2020 to support developing countries. And why does it matter? Because developing nations face the worst climate impacts but contribute least emissions. We have an example here, such as the climate finance supports renewable energy in projects in Africa and throughout Asia. The challenge, that 100 billion target has yet to be fully met without funding, and it needs vulnerable nations can't adapt to the challenges they face. So here we have some countries that have success stories, such as Germany and India. They are leading the world's solar energy expansion, and we have the Amazon protection. And Brazil and neighboring countries are tackling deforestation, and the EU Green Deal aims to make Europe carbon neutral by 2050. So here, what you guys can do, you have to, first of all, how can you support climate policies? You have to advocate for stronger policies by contacting local representatives. And you have to join or support climate-focused organizations such as what you guys are doing right now. And you have to reduce your personal carbon footprints, such as with small actions. And last but not least, here's a quote: "Your voice and choice matters. Change starts with us." Lastly, I want to learn more about you guys and if you have any more personal questions. So if you have any questions, you can just raise your hand, introduce yourself, tell us your climate story. So yeah.